You got your opinions on my moves, but the fucks I give is zero.
And down goes another one. And down goes another one. Now it's interesting. In 2017, I got on YouTube in April of 2017. I think, the first week of April of 2017. I didn't really start going with my Patreon page until about mid to late June of 2017. Mid to late June of 2017 is when I really start utilizing my Patreon page. And I have a lot of great Patreon subscribers. Some of my Patreon subscribers I've actually had since summer of 2017. Some, on the flip side, are fairly new. Then I've had some that have come and gone. They've been my Patreon subscriber for a few months, then they leave, then they come back. They leave, then they come back. Like just recently, I had about, 3 or 4 Patreon subscribers who came back to me, who had unsubscribed a few weeks ago, a few months ago, and they came back to me. So I'll preface my comments by saying I got a lot of love and appreciation for my Patreon subscribers. Matter of fact, if you remember earlier this year, I made a drastic change in my video uploading format because I was starting to get some complaints from my Patreon subscribers. Because between roughly mid-January and late March of this year, probably 90% of my video content was free YouTube video content. Yeah, I'd say probably like 90% of it was free YouTube content. And of course, people who watch my free videos who've never been a Patreon subscriber was loving that shit because they were able to absorb my knowledge, wisdom, and insight for free without paying for it. But of course, many of my Patreon subscribers were pissed. They were basically like, why am I a $5 or $10 subscriber of yours if you're doing all these videos for free? Why am I a $5 or $10 subscriber of yours if you're going to be doing all these videos for free? Now, the Patreon subscribers that didn't criticize me was my $20 and my $50. I have 4 tiers. Well, no, technically 5. I have 5 tiers of subscribers. From lowest to highest, I got $2 subscribers, $5 subscribers, $10 subscribers, $20 subscribers, and $50 subscribers. $2 subscribers, they don't receive any particular benefit. They don't receive any particular. They don't get access to my Patreon exclusive live streams. They don't get any free books, any free consultation sessions, none of that. They just, I consider those just general supporters. $5 Patreon subscribers, they get access to 1 Patreon exclusive live stream per month. They get access to 1 exclusive Patreon exclusive live stream per month. $10 Patreon subscribers, they get access to a minimum of 2 Patreon exclusive live streams. They get to ask me 1 email consultation question per month. And if they don't own all 4 of my audiobooks, they get to receive a free copy of 1 of my 4 audiobooks. They get to receive a copy of 1 of my 4 audiobooks, assuming that they don't already own all 4 of my audiobooks. $20 subscribers get access to all of my Patreon exclusive live streams. They get a free audiobook if they don't own them all already. and they get a choice of one or two things, either 2 email consultation questions or 1 20-minute Skype or telephone consultation. And then my $50 subscribers, they get access to all of my Patreon exclusive live streams. They get a free audiobook, all my audiobooks for free, assuming that they don't already own them. And they get up to 60 minutes worth of Skype or telephone consultation time per month. They can use 1 60-minute session, 2 30-minute sessions, 3 20-minute sessions, or some other combination each month. And their minutes that they don't use in any month get to carry over for up to 90 days. So that's the benefits and rewards of being a Patreon subscriber of mine. Now, again, I was kind of not really taking care of my Patreon subscribers between mid-January and late March. But beginning with late April, early May, I changed my format and I started producing more Patreon exclusive content. And as you know, I pretty much doubled my Patreon subscribers. Because yeah, in March, in mid to late March, early April, I only had like 170 Patreon subscribers. Then I went up to as high as 359 about a month and a half ago. Yeah, the highest I've had was about a month and a half ago. I went up to as high as 359 Patreon subscribers. Right now, I'm at, I think as of this morning, I'm at 352. I'm at 352, so I'm about 7 shy of my highest number I've ever had. Why am I talking about my Patreon subscribers? Because I was reading, I've talked about this before. If you're a Patreon content creator, when people unsubscribe to you, they have the option of leaving feedback on why they unsubscribe to you. Some people are just click on the default responses, like my finances are tight. Some other reason. I don't feel like the Patreon content creator is creating enough content. And there's about 4 default answers, 4 or 5 default answers. And then in addition to the default responses, you can actually type in your reason for unsubscribing. Now, I recently had a young brother, unsubscribe to me. This is a guy, well, no, I could say his name if I wanted to, but I ain't going to call him out like that. But this is a brother who's been following me since my Blog Talk Radio days. He's been following me since my Blog Talk Radio days. As you know, I had a Blog Talk Radio audio podcast and internet radio show from June of 2007 all the way up until mid-June of 2016, 9 years. And he's been following me since my Blog Talk. He used to call into my Blog Talk Radio show a lot. But he recently unsubscribed to me. But here's what was interesting. Here's what I found interesting. I could see if he unsubscribed because he was disappointed in my Patreon exclusive content. If his criticism of me is that he was disappointed in my Patreon exclusive content, either the quality of it and or the quantity of it, or I should say lack of quantity of it, then I would understand. I would understand. Again, like in late March when I got a lot of complaints about the lack of quantity of Patreon exclusive content. I didn't get mad. I didn't get defensive. I took those criticisms to heart and I made changes and I improved. But this brother left me. He explained that he left me, unsubscribed to me, because of the quality of my free YouTube content. His main issue with me is the quality of my free YouTube content. He was a $5 subscriber. And he unsubscribed because he said he had 2 main criticisms of me in regards to my free YouTube content. He said, Alan, I like you, I respect you, all that type of stuff. But he said, man, in the last few weeks and few months on your YouTube content, man, you've been engaging in way too many online beefs with other content creators. You've been engaging in way too many back and forth online beefs with other content creators. And honestly, that's turning me off. And secondly, man, it seems like you don't want anybody to challenge anything you say or disagree with anything you say. It's like you want your YouTube channel to be one big echo chamber. Echo chamber. Okay, so I'm going to address in this video both of those two criticisms. Criticism number one, I engage. Oh, let me add on one more thing to criticism number one. He said, you engage in too many online beefs, spend too much time engaging in online beefs, and not enough time offering advice on helping men improve their mouthpiece and their verbal seduction skills. I hear a lawnmower. Damn, it's loud. Oh, if that noise comes back again, I'm going to have to halt the video and wait. Okay, first on criticism number one. Insert dog face here. I don't know why you're surprised, young brother. And I like you, man. You know who you are. I ain't going to say your name, but you know who you are. I like you. You've been following me again since my Blog Talk Radio days. But here's what I have to say about your criticism number one. As far as the online beefs, I acknowledge as far back as spring of last year, spring of 2018, there was a couple videos where I acknowledged. I said, over half the reason why I do free YouTube videos, over half the reason why I do my free YouTube videos is mainly for these three reasons. Is to address comments expressed by what I call my haters and critics. To address comments expressed by my haters and critics. To offer responses and rebuttals to my haters and critics and things people say in my comment section. Or they write me in, people who've written me emails and Facebook inbox messages and stuff. And to highlight something that some happened in the news. Like it might be some interesting news story related to dating relationships that I want to discuss. Something that I read in a newspaper, magazine, heard about on a TV show, heard about on the internet, something like that. Those three things, that's the main, at minimum, that's 50% of the reason why I do my free YouTube videos. And I said that again over a year ago. When it comes to what I would call purely advice-driven content, purely 100% advice-driven content, I'm not going to ever do that on no free portion of the YouTube. With the exception maybe at most 5% of the time. There might be as much as 5% of the time where you might catch me giving you purely advice-driven content on a free video. But 95% of my purely advice-driven videos, content, is going to be on my Patreon exclusive videos. And since you were a Patreon subscriber, you should know, brother. When have you ever heard me talk about online beefs on my Patreon exclusive content? When? I would challenge you, I would dare you to name a video I did. I rarely have ever talked about online beefs with people in my Patreon exclusive content. There's been maybe 2% of the time when I was conducting a Patreon live stream where I brought up one of my online beefs for a brief moment. But other than that, Pretty much all of my Patreon exclusive videos are purely advice-driven videos. So since you were a $5 Patreon subscriber, why are you even commenting on and criticizing the free portion of my videos? That shouldn't even be of concern to you. That shouldn't even be of concern to you. So that's a bullshit criticism. Again, I would challenge and dare anybody who's been a long-time Patreon subscriber of mine to say that I spend time on my Patreon exclusive videos talking about beefs with other content creators or responding to my haters and critics. My Patreon exclusive videos are like 95 to 100% purely advice-driven. Advice-driven. So again, you being a former Patreon subscriber, you shouldn't even be offering criticisms of the free portion of my videos. That shouldn't even be of concern to you. But again, I acknowledged over a year ago that, yeah, I purposely engage in online beefs and shit. Because if nothing else, it gives me content for the free portion. Because I'm going to tell you this right now. Again, I said this over a year ago. Hypothetically, if I was to never ever offer responses and rebuttals to my haters and critics and engage in any discussions with people I'm beefing with, y'all wouldn't get no YouTube content. I'm telling you right now, and that's real talk. Y'all wouldn't get no YouTube content. All of my shit would be just Patreon exclusive content. If it wasn't for me wanting to offer responses and rebuttals to my haters and critics, discuss whatever ongoing beef I might have with another content creator, or discussing stuff that's in the news, if you took away those three things, I wouldn't do any YouTube content. I wouldn't do any free YouTube content. All of my shit would strictly be Patreon exclusive content. As far as specifically on verbal seduction, stuff to do with verbal seduction, erotic, dirty talk, you should know, being a long-time follower of mine, I don't even really discuss that in my Patreon exclusive content. That's for my one-on-one face-to-face coaching sessions. You got to pay money for that shit, dude. I'm talking about thousands of dollars. I'm not going to give motherfuckers detailed advice on verbal seduction skills and erotic, dirty talk skills for free, definitely not for free. And even if you're just a $5 or $10 or $20 subscriber of mine, you're not going to get that type of information. If you want that type of information, stuff specifically to do with improving your mouthpiece, your verbal seduction skills, your erotic, dirty talk skills, you got to sign up for a one-on-one face-to-face coaching session for me. You got to pay me some big dollars. I got bills to pay. I can't pay no bills giving motherfuckers free advice or advice for $5 or $10. I got bills to pay. So no. Now, when it comes to advice related to the general psychology of women and that type of thing, I'll give that advice on my Patreon exclusive videos. But when it comes to detailed, specific advice on verbal seduction and erotic dirty talk, now you got to pay for a one-on-one face-to-face coaching session with me for that. I got to watch you with a woman. I want to watch you in person. I want to identify your current strengths and your current flaws. I want to watch you interact with my female assistants that I have with my one-on-one face-to-face coaching sessions. So as far as your criticism number one, poof, poof. All bullshit, all invalid bullshit. And I say that with love, because I like you, young brother. I like you. But your criticism number one is bullshit. Again, you being a Patreon subscriber, what I talk about or fail to talk about on the free portion of my videos should not be of your concern. That should not be of your concern. The only criticism, if you're going to offer me a criticism, should be on either the quality of my Patreon exclusive content or the quantity or lack of quantity of my Patreon exclusive content. Your criticism number two. Wait, hold on a second. I'm thirsty. far as your second criticism, which was that, Alan, it seems like you don't want anybody to challenge anything you say, disagree with anything you say. It seems like you essentially want just your YouTube channel to be one big echo chamber. And for those, I don't like to ever assume that everybody who listens to me or watches me is familiar with all the terminology I use. So I'm always assuming that at least 1% of people might be ignorant to certain terms. So for those of you, the small percentage of you that are ignorant to the term echo chamber, basically, and I've had at least a half a dozen people on YouTube accuse me of this. They say, Alan, he just wants an echo chamber at his YouTube channel. He just wants an echo chamber. What is an echo chamber? Echo chamber, in simple terms, means you only want people coming to your channel who support everything you say and generally agree and co-sign with everything you say. That means you want an echo chamber. It's when the only people you really want coming to your channel is people who support just about everything you say and they agree with and co-sign with just about everything you say. That means you want an echo chamber. You want the truth? You goddamn right I want an echo chamber. Shit. Fuck yeah, I want an echo chamber. I ain't never denied that. Hell yeah, I want an echo chamber. I bet you thought I was going to try to deny that shit. No, I want an echo chamber. And for the most part, in 2019, I have one. If you notice, speaking of changes I made to my channel in this year, like pretty much in 2017 and the vast majority of 2018, I used to let damn near anybody comment in my comment section. Even if they said some crazy, outlandish shit, I would allow people to comment in my comment section. And if you go back and look at some of my old videos, you'll see I had a lot more comments and reply comments. Now, I only average like anywhere from 75 to 150 comments and reply comments. Whereas when I first got on YouTube, I had videos where I had as many as like 300, 400, 500 comments and reply comments. I got at least one video where I had almost 1,000 comments and reply comments. But starting with a few months ago, man, I delete like probably 95% of the comments that I consider to be just bullshit or invalid digressions. I delete that shit. Hell yeah. So you can quote me on this. Alan Roger Currie does want his YouTube channel to be an echo chamber. You damn right I do. You damn right I do. You damn right I do. So I don't deny that for a microsecond. I do want my YouTube channel to be an echo chamber. And I don't feel like it's inappropriate for me to want my YouTube channel to be an echo chamber. See, here's the only time it's inappropriate for someone who's a podcast host to want an echo chamber. Here's the only time I would say it's inappropriate for you to want an echo chamber. Is if you're a podcast host who invites and regularly encourages spirited debates and panel discussions. Spirited debates and panel discussions. If you're the type of podcast, and there are podcast hosts on YouTube that fall into this category. If you're a YouTube host who regularly, or at least semi-regularly, tends to invite and encourage spirited debates between two or more panelists, or what's also similarly known as a group panel discussion, that's when you should want a wide variety of differing opinions to be discussed. That's when you should want a wide variety of different opinions to be discussed. Like if I had to give a TV example, if anybody watches ESPN, Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman host a sports show called First Take. First Take. That show invites and encourages very spirited and even very heated debates and differing opinions about certain professional athletes in certain athletic contests, games. So it would be inappropriate for Stephen A. Smith or Max Kellerman to want an echo chamber in relation to that show. Because that show, the whole purpose of that show is to invite spirited debates and to welcome differing opinions on different athletes and sporting contests. I am a self-help guru. My channel is not a debate channel. I don't host panel discussions. Now, when I was on Blog Talk Radio, I did. When I did my Blog Talk Radio show, a lot of times I would have certain episodes of my Blog Talk Radio show that would center around spirited debates with certain guests I had. So in that environment, I welcome difference of opinions. But on this YouTube channel, no. My attitude is this. If you don't agree with the shit I'm talking about in relation to Mo 1, if you don't agree with the shit I'm talking about in relation to Ooh Said Again, if you don't agree with the shit I'm talking about in relation to the possibility of sex, and you don't agree with the shit I'm talking about in relation to the beta male revolution, why the fuck are you here? That's my $1 million question. Why the fuck are you here? I don't want you here. Leave. And I'm serious. Leave. If you got major philosophical disagreements with the contents of any of my books, I don't want you here. And if you try to comment in my comment section, I'm going to immediately delete your shit. I'm telling you that right now. I'm going to immediately delete your shit. And most of y'all know that over the past 2 to 3 months. You notice I don't have people. If people come on my channel trying to disagree with shit related to Mo 1, related to Ooh Say It Again, related to the possibility of sex, or related to beta male revolution, 99.9% of the time, I immediately delete their shit. I don't want you here. Go listen to somebody else. Go listen to somebody else. I don't want you here. So you damn right I want an echo chamber. You damn right I want an echo chamber. You damn right I want an echo chamber. I won't hesitate in saying it. I want an echo chamber here. I only want my supporters. I want people who are genuinely interested in learning from me to watch my videos. If you're not here to genuinely learn from me and absorb knowledge, wisdom, and insight from me, leave. Get the fuck out of here and don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Leave. The only time I don't mind someone challenging something I say on my channel or respectfully, keyword respectfully disagreeing with something I say is if you have identified an instance where I'm misquoting somebody, where I'm either misquoting and or misinterpreting the comments of another YouTube personality, I'm misquoting and or misinterpreting the comments of a book I might be quoting from, such as the Bible or some other well-known respected author's book. Just some other prominent public figure. Yeah, if you catch me in an instance where, say, I'm quoting, or if not quoting verbatim, paraphrasing something that somebody else said, and you want to point out to me that, Alan, I think you're wrong with that quote, or I think you invalidly paraphrased that person. What that person really said was blah, 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 and I think you are misinterpreting their comments. I'll accept those type of challenges and disagreements. I'll let those go in my comment section. But if you're trying to challenge or philosophically disagree with something related to the contents of my books, contents of my Mo 1 book, contents of my Ooh Say It Again book, contents of my Possibility of Sex book, and contents of my Beta Male Revolution book, no. Your shit's going to get deleted. When it comes to the contents of my books, I very much want an echo chamber. Last night, I was almost tempted to nickname my to change my name of my channel to Alan Roger Currie's Echo Chamber. That's how much I want an echo chamber. I want an echo chamber. So young brother who wrote me and made that criticism, with all due respect to you, fuck your criticism about the echo chamber. Fuck your criticism. I want an echo chamber. I take pride in wanting an echo chamber on my channel. My attitude is, if you got major philosophical disagreements with the shit I say, leave. Go follow somebody else. Leave. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I know my books are the shit. Yeah, I'm throwing my modesty to the side. I know my books are the shit. I know Mode 1 is the shit. I know Who Said Again is the shit. I know The Possibility of Sex is the shit. And for the most part, I know the Beta Male Revolution is the shit. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I know it. My shit is based on 30 plus years of experience socializing with women. I'm 56 years old. The shit in my books comes from everything I experienced from the age of roughly 17 up until now. It ain't too many people who got that many years of experience that they can break down to you. You got motherfuckers on here that are 25 years old trying to break down game to you. They don't know shit. And the shit they do know they got from me. Or if not me specifically, they might have got it from my fellow brother, Ron Wills. Or somebody who's up in age. Like Ron Wills, he's like 2 years under me. But all y'all motherfuckers in y'all 20s and 30s think y'all breaking down game? Y'all ain't got the years of experience that I do. Over half the shit y'all talking about, y'all got from me. Be real about that shit. I know what I'm talking about is the shit. I know I got rock solid knowledge. So no, I don't want your challenges and your shit. And like I saw somebody the other day try to say this criticism of Alan, man, he don't realize his shit, the shit he talks about only applies to hooking up with women in the 70s, 80s, and maybe the early mid-90s. But his shit is not relevant to today's dating scene. I've heard that ever since the probably summer of last year. I've heard people say that. If I had to highlight somebody, Alpha Male Strategies. He was probably the first one to say that. If there's another dating coach who said that about me, it was Alpha Male Strategies. He said that when he used to go in on me a lot in the early part of 2018. He would tell his followers, he would say, Alan Roger Currie, his advice is not really relevant to the 21st century. His advice was relevant in the 1970s, 1980s, and most of the 1990s. But for the 21st century, his stuff it no longer applies. Because women are too vicious out here today. Women are too scandalous out here today. Women are too manipulative and materialistic today. Nigga, women have always been scandalous. When have women in the history of Earth ever not had some degree of scandalousness to them? If you read the Bible, there was bitches in the Bible who were scandalous. What the fuck are you talking about? There was women in the Bible who were fucking scandalous and adulterous and unfaithful and materialistic. What are you talking about? Women ain't changed. The basic core of women has not changed. There's been certain nuanced differences in their behavior that have evolved based on the changing environment of our times. But generally speaking, at their core, women are who they've always been. Women are who they've always been. Y'all must don't read no history books. I read a lot of history books, man. I read about how men and women interacted with 5 centuries ago, 10 centuries ago, 20 centuries ago. Man, men and women ain't changed that much. Again, they've had little minor nuanced differences in their behavior as we've become more modern and added technology to our life and that type of thing. Like, of course, there wasn't things like Instagram attention whores 50 years ago. But women have always been attention whores. They might not have Instagram to exhibit their attention whoreness, but women have always been attention whores. Women have always been gold diggers. Women have always been adulterers and unfaithful. Women have always been sexually duplicitous. What the fuck are you talking about? My advice is not relevant. Name some specific aspect of my advice that's not relevant. I would say, and you heard me say this on previous videos this year, if anything, I would actually say just the opposite. I would actually say just the opposite. I would say Mode 1, most of what I teach, particularly as it relates to Mode 1, is more relevant today and applicable today than it was 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. Like somebody wrote this in my comment section like 2 or 3 videos ago. Some guy wrote, he said, Alan, I firmly believe Mode 1 is the most effective solution and countermeasure to the Me Too movement. It is. It is. And I've said that multiple times. Mode 1 is the most effective behavior you can exhibit to prevent yourself from getting into Me Too movement trouble. It's the most effective behavior you can exhibit to prevent yourself from getting into Me Too movement trouble. Hey man, here's the breakdown again. I'm going to give y'all the breakdown, then I'm going to shut up for this free portion. As I wrote an article on the Negro Manosphere, where I was the top writer, just got to throw that in there before I left. Getting women in bed really comes down to one of 5 categories. And y'all heard me talk about this a number of times, both earlier this year and more so in 2018. There's really only 5 categories of methods of getting women in bed. There's only really 5 categories of methods of getting women in bed. Number 1, attraction. Attraction. What is attraction? Attraction comes from when you immerse yourself in a high degree of self-improvement and personal development, and as a result of your self-improvement and personal development activities, you start to notice that women are coming out the woodworks giving you attention. For example, you're currently 75 pounds overweight, but you start eating better and exercising more, and you lose 75 pounds because you're going to the gym every day, you start working out, and all of a sudden, women just start coming out the woodworks giving you attention because you got a new and improved physique. That would be an example of attraction. That happened to me, as most people know, probably no one year that happened to me more than any other year was my senior year in high school. My senior year in high school, that happened to me. Like my junior year in high school, I was kind of chunky. I wasn't just flat out fat, but I was chunky. And then the summer before my senior year in high school, because I wanted to make the basketball team, I worked out like a dog. I mean, it was probably one of the most intense workout regimens I've ever had. And the bad news was I still didn't make the basketball team. But the good news was I had a really chiseled, lean, muscular, male stripper type physique. And women took notice of it. And I really didn't have to approach women my senior year in high school. If there was one time in my life where just about all the pussy I got, it came to me. I didn't really go after it. It came to me. Was my senior year in high school. I say at least 95% of pussy I got my senior year in high school, it came to me. I didn't pursue women. Women just came to me. That would be the best example of attraction, is when you improve either your looks, something about your looks, something about your grooming, hygiene, the way you dress. Like Kevin Samuels is an expert in that category, like stuff to do with grooming, hygiene, and clothing. You improve your finances. Say you were broke and unemployed, then you got more educated, and you got a job, and you start making money, and all of a sudden women start coming out the woodworks. That's attraction. The reason why you know you're getting in bed with a woman because of attraction is when you don't really have to approach them. All you got to do is concentrate on personal development and self-improvement. And once you improve yourself, some aspect of yourself, physically or non-physically, women just start coming out the woodworks giving you attention. That's when you know you're getting attention from women solely and specifically based on attraction. So that's category number 1. General category number 2 of getting women in bed is seduction. Something I highly emphasize. Seduction. When is seduction necessary? Here's when seduction comes into play. And that'll lead me also to the third category, which is dishonesty and manipulation. Let's say you have a woman that has some degree of attraction to you. She has some degree of attraction to you. But upon further examination, she finds out that you're interested in a certain type of companionship, and particularly sexual companionship, that she's not interested in. For example, you meet a woman that she's attracted to you. That's the good news. But she only wants to have sex with you within the context of a long-term monogamous relationship, but you want to have sex with her within the context of a short-term non-monogamous relationship. If you run into that situation, you generally only going to have two options. Technically three. Two options, technically three. Which would be, one would be seduction, which is category number 2. Seduction involves, in that situation, you persuading a woman. You using your mouthpiece to persuade a woman to change from her preference to your preference. To change from her preference to your preference. So, for example, if she wants long-term sex and you want short-term sex, you persuade her to want short-term sex. That's seduction. If she wants monogamous sex and you want non-monogamous sex, and you use your mouthpiece to persuade her to want non-monogamous sex like you, that's seduction. That's category number 2. Category number 3 is dishonesty and manipulation. Dishonesty and manipulation. Same scenario. You meet a woman who's attracted to you, but she wants long-term monogamous sex and you want short-term non-monogamous sex. Dishonesty and manipulation would be if you spend a number of days, weeks, or months pretending that you want long-term monogamous sex just like her, but then once you fuck her 2 times, 5 times, 10 times, then you just all of a sudden dump her. That's what's known as fucking dump. Fucking dump. That falls under dishonesty and manipulation. You're pretending, you're giving her the misleading impression that you want the same type of sexual companionship that she does when you really don't. That's the basis of indirect game. That's the basis of indirect, what's known as indirect verbal game. Then the third option would be, which is category 4, is financial negotiation. Financial negotiation. Financial negotiation comes into play in 2 situations. Number 1, you don't really have the mouthpiece skills to persuade a woman, to use charm and persuasion to seduce a woman. You have less than average mouthpiece skills and persuasive charm. And number 2, the woman has a less than average degree of attraction to you. She has a less than average degree of attraction to you. So your way of persuading her to have sex with you instead of your mouthpiece is this. You basically say, if you go ahead and choose to have sex with me, I will pay you X amount of dollars. And she either says yay or nay. So on the positive end, you don't look to deceive her or manipulate her like somebody who opts for dishonesty and manipulation. So that's the good news. But on the downside, you don't really have the mouthpiece and persuasive charm and charisma to seduce a woman. So you got to use this as your form of persuasive charm. You use money as your form of persuasive charm. And then the final of the 5 general categories of getting women in bed, which is, of course, the most despicable, is coercion. Coercion would center around any form of rape, date rape, using alcohol to get a woman drunk and taking advantage of her, using drugs to get a woman high so that you can take advantage of her, kidnapping and torturing a woman, putting a gun to a woman's head, forcing her to suck your dick or give you some pussy, or anything else related to just blatant sexual assault. typically the number one guys who usually resort to coercion are guys, number one, who are very angry, frustrated, and bitter and resentful towards women. Basically, they're misogynists. Guys who are misogynists, they, in a nutshell, they hate women, which a lot of guys on YouTube do. They hate women, but they don't want to become a monk or a homosexual. That's what usually causes guys to become rapists, date rapists, and other similar types that fall into coercion, is when you hate women deep down. You have a passionate dislike for women, but you don't want to become a monk and you don't want to become a homosexual. And your hormones are raging. You still want some pussy, but you hate women. You still want some pussy, but you hate women. That's when you're going to resort to things like rape, date rape, and other various forms of sexual assault. Is when you hate women, but you don't immerse yourself in self-improvement and personal development, or you have, but it hasn't worked out for you. You don't have the mouthpiece to engage in seduction. You tried dishonesty and manipulation, and you still didn't get the pussy. And you either don't have the money to pay for sex, or you're tired of having sex with prostitutes, call girls, and erotic escorts. So you resort to rape, date rape, and other variations of sexual assault. So again, to recap, those are the 5 general ways of getting women in bed: attraction, seduction, dishonesty and manipulation, financial negotiation, such as being a trick or a sugar daddy, or coercion. My emphasis is on the first 2, attraction and seduction. I emphasize the first 2, attraction and seduction, and even more so, seduction. Attraction and seduction, and even more so, seduction. I don't emphasize dishonesty and manipulation. So if you want advice related to that, you shouldn't be listening to me. Go, as they say, go over there. Go over there. Go somewhere else. If you want advice related, and I have had people come to me. I've even had some of my Patreon subscribers come to me looking for advice related to dishonesty and manipulation. And I have to curse them out. I don't give advice related to indirect verbal game or dishonesty and manipulation. That ain't my cup of tea. If you want that type of advice, go to Alpha Male Strategies or somebody else. Go to Alpha Male Strategies or somebody else. I don't do indirect verbal game or dishonesty and manipulation. And I'm pointing out Alpha Male Strategies because, as you saw by my last video I did on him, he said the best way to get out of a woman's friend zone is to lie to him. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. Seriously, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. That you avoid getting in a woman's friend zone by hiding your sexual desires, interests, and intentions, or lying to women about your sexual desires, interests, and intentions. That's just #stupid. If you're about financial negotiation, that ain't my cup of tea. I would refer you to Big Mike, Tony Maceo. They're the masters of what they call power tricking. So if you want to choose that method, financial negotiation, that would probably be the #1 person I would refer you to. Is Big Mike and Tony Maceo, and maybe there might be 1 or 2 others. Even O'Shea, who I've been having beef with, he emphasizes that. He has a phrase called instant tricking. Instant tricking in the club. Instant tricking in the club. So see, I'm going to go ahead and give him a referral. Even though me and him fell out. He promotes tricking. Now, coercion, I wouldn't want to refer you to anybody who promotes that shit. Because that, to me, that's some serious black pill shit. You need to see a therapist if you're tempted to resort to rape, date rape, or other forms of sexual assault. I think that shit is despicable. You need to be locked up in jail. You need to see a therapist if you're tempted to go that route. So there's nobody I would refer you to for that. Get it? Got it? Good. So young brother who unsubscribed to me, hey, I still got love for you. If you want to come back at some point in the future, I'll welcome you with open arms. Uncle Allen will welcome you with open arms. You got to repent first, though. You're going to have to repent. You're going to have to repent. At the altar of Mo 1, you're going to have to repent. But I'll welcome you back. I'll welcome back some of my subscribers who unsubscribed to me and came back. Uncle Allen is here. I'm full of forgiveness. I got an ego like a motherfucker. My ego is as big as Thanos' head. But I got a heart that's full of empathy and forgiveness. So I'll welcome you back. And in my Patreon exclusive portion, it's going to be brief. I'm just going to give you a reminder of women's top 3 shit tests. Shit tests. Because some people wrote me emails recently asking me about, Alan, I feel like this woman is shit testing me, but I'm not sure. How can I tell when a woman is shit testing me? How can I tell when a woman is shit testing me? I'll address that in my Patreon exclusive portion.
Tell me to behave, that is why they was low. I'ma do me, regardless of the tempo. You got your opinions of my moves, but the fucks I give is 0. All the fucks I gave, I threw it out the window. Told me to behave, that is why the wind's low. I'ma do me, regardless of the tempo. You got your opinions on my moves, but the fucks I give is 0.